Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another video. Right now we're typing into our browser National Housing Trust because we want to get to their website. I won't assume you already know what their website is, so we're typing it in and it takes us to www.nht.gov.jm. It immediately shows you at the top that Catherine Estates and Perth in Manchester application period start 8 a.m. August 11th 2026, and you can press apply right there. But let's say that typing is a bit small and you missed it. You can scroll down to upcoming schemes and you can click on Perth Estate Manchester if that's the one you want, or Catherine Estates. So we click on Perth Estate and it shows us the option to apply for Perth Estate Manchester August 2026 intake. So let's hit that and see what happens. And right here we have started step 1, but look closely. The default scheme chosen is Catherine Estates Phase 7. So if you're applying for Perth Estates, you have to manually change to Perth Estate, and it will be updated to the right to show the information for Perth Estate. The information for whichever scheme you choose will be to the right, and here it says Perth 2 Housing Development in 2026. The property is located in Perth, Manchester. The site at its most northern point is 4.83 kilometers from the Mandeville Town Centre. Perth Phase 2 will contain roads with curbs, sidewalks, street names and traffic signs, stormwater drainage, etc. And you can watch my first video to see that. Step 1 only has 3 questions, which you'll see right here. But before we complete the steps, I want to show you everywhere you can go to start the application for each of these housing developments. So we already came at Perth Estate, Manchester. Now we're going to Catherine Estate right beside it, and we'll click on apply just the same, and you see it takes you to the same place in step 1. And remember, the default is Catherine Estate Phase 7, so here you won't have to manually make any changes. Here we see the 3 questions which are in step 1, so we know that we're in the right place. But we're going back out to the top of the page, where instead of scrolling down and selecting each scheme manually, you can just come up here. It says Catherine Estate and Perth Estate Manchester, application starts 8 a.m. We'll click apply right here and it will take us to step 1. First thing we're going to do in step 1 is select the scheme. We already told you the default is Catherine Estates, and if you'd like to apply for Perth Estate, you'll manually change it. To the right of the screen, it gives you information on the house you're applying for. It is sited on 263.3 acres. Catherine Estate is located approximately 3 kilometers southwest of Spanish Town Centre. The development is situated east of Marchpen Road and west of Lakespen Road and north along the PJ Patterson Highway. And of course, you can read as you see fit. Here again, we have the 3 questions in step 1, which we'll get to next. And as I'm reminding you, you can select Perth Estate if you do not wish to apply for Catherine Estate, but Catherine Estate is the default. So we'll scroll down to application type. The first of the 3 questions is I am. Are you applying on your own, 1 applicant, or are you applying jointly with someone else, 2 applicants? And thirdly, are you applying via parent assist, meaning my parent is assisting me to acquire a house? You choose what suits you, but I am 1 applicant, so I'll select that. The next question, are you requesting a CRTD loan? Now, what is this? To the right of the screen, it explains it. CRTD is the contribution refunds to deposit facility, which allow you to access contribution not yet due to be refunded as an additional loan to be used as a deposit towards the purchase of a housing solution. If you are requesting a CRTD loan, we will apply the amount you have available in calculating your affordability. So I won't select this, but if it suits your situation, you can select yes, but I'll select no. And our third and final question, do you have savings available to contribute to your purchase? So if based on what you currently own, you don't qualify to get the full 9.2 million, depending on which one you're applying for, you can select yes, you'll use some savings, and it asks you how much savings do you have. You type in the amount that you have. So if it's $1 million, 50,000, 2,000, whatever your savings, you put it right here, that you'll use that to offset the total loan. And here I quickly go back up to CRTD loan just to click on yes, and it gave me the option to put in the amount of funds I had available if I choose to apply for the loan to offset the total of the house. All right, but I'm back to no, and I'm gonna select next to get to step 2. Step 2 will be the applicant's details. So first it asks for your TRN, NIS, your title, are you a Mr. or you a Mrs., your first, your last name, your middle name, your gender, your date of birth, your place of birth. We're gonna put in this information real quick and move on. Have you had a name change or deed poll? No. But I'm gonna select yes just to see what happens, and it'll ask you to state your previous names if you've had a name change. But I'm gonna put back to no. The place of birth, you put the parish, St. Catherine or whichever applies to you. Your marital status, are you married and living with spouse, living with common law partner, never married, separated, divorced, or a widower? I went ahead and chose the different options just to see if it will ask me for other information. Say I'm married, will it ask me for my partner's information? As you know, persons married to persons who already own a home may not be eligible. So I'm just putting that in case it asks for that additional information. All right, but I'm gonna just go ahead and select the actual answer, which is never married. Okay, so my contact details, this is for me, the primary applicant. It will ask for your telephone number, your mobile phone, and your home phone. So if you have both, you put them in. It'll then ask for your home address, which you will fill out as well. Notice there's a section that asks the address where you receive your letters. So say you've always lived at a certain address and it's on your national ID, but you parent at a different address. Here, you'll put in the address that you currently receive letters if it's different from your home address. But if it's the same address, I'll select same. So that's what I went ahead and did here. However, I took it back out of same address just to see what will happen, and it populates some place for you to enter the address that you now receive letters. All right, but I just clicked on it to show you, but I'm gonna go back to same address as the home address that I receive letters. You input your email address. Of course, when the application is completed, we expect that they'll send you confirmation that they receive your submission and they'll look over it. All right, so the email address is necessary. With anything you do online, the email address is necessary because that's how they communicate with you. So next of kin. Kin, of course, is a family member, but here it shows you provide details of family member we may contact on your behalf. That's a section in blue. So in case you don't know what next of kin is, they show you on the screen. Now I'm gonna put my mother, which of course this is not her real name, but if you see Winnie Pooh in the comments, that's mommy. Okay, contact details for my next of kin. I'm gonna put her home, work, or home and work. And be mindful, if you select home, don't put the work information. If you select work only, be mindful what you selected and don't put the home information, because some little error will be the difference in you getting the loan or not. And if you select home and work, it will populate both options. So you'll see the section for your home information and the section for your work information. But we're keeping it simple, and I'm going to select home only. Okay, and I just want to say, if you have a co-applicant, say it's not one applicant, it would be different. They'll most likely ask for information for 2 persons, so you'll probably put in these information twice. All right, but this example is for 1 applicant only, but the format is the same. The information, they'll ask you the information for each applicant, even if it's more than 1. Even if it's your parent that's assisting you to buy it, if that was the option you selected. All right, so we put in contact person, which is different from next of kin. And the blue section says you can choose up to 2 contact person. So this don't need as much information as next of kin. It just asks for their first name, middle name, last name, telephone number, and if they have a secondary telephone number. So that's all they need for the contact. However, if you'd like to add more than 1 contact, you can tick the box there that says additional contact, and it will populate the fields for you to put in the information for the second contact. But we're not selecting additional contact, we're just putting in 1 right here. So the housing status, this application is open to non-homeowners only. So these next questions are geared towards finding out if you own a home. Have you ever received a home loan from the National Housing Trust? I'm selecting no. But let me select yes just to show you what happens. And there you see it prompts you in red that this benefit is open to persons who have never received an NHT benefit. All right, so back to no because I've never received a loan. Next, are you the registered owner of any house? I put no, but then I put yes to see if it'll ask me anything additional, and it did. But back to no. Have you ever joined with a co-applied with anyone? I'm gonna put no, but sometimes if you see me select yes, it is just to show that if you select yes, what other questions will they ask you? All right, so you can pause the screen to see what came up when I selected yes, and to see what information it may require if you've ever owned a home before, or if your name is on the title of another property. All right, so the answer is no, I'm not on the title of any other property. I'm not the registered owner of any other house. So the next one, the house you live in, do you, and you select the drop down, you live rent free, you rent, you lease, you own, or it's owned by your spouse. I'm gonna select live rent free. How many bedrooms do you and your household now occupy? I'm gonna put 3. I'm not sure why that is applicable or why that information is needed, but every section is mandatory, so fill it in. Your work and financial details, including yourself, how many persons do you support financially? I'm gonna put 3. What is your main occupation? I'm gonna select other, and I'm gonna type in street vendor because I want to do an example for self-employed persons. So say I'm a street vendor. The next question, my employment status, am I employed or self-employed? I'm gonna put a self-employed. Most vendors I do believe are self-employed, so it will ask for your self-employment information. What is your gross income? This is the amount before tax in Jamaican dollars, and this is an example to show that if you're making below minimum wage, it's not applicable. So I put 50,000, and it asks you to show how often do you receive the amount. I put monthly, but then it says gross income. The amount specified should not be below minimum wage. So if I earn 50,000 monthly, it don't make any sense to apply for this house. So I'm gonna go ahead and change it. So I'll put 75,000 monthly. And no disrespect to street vendors, I know a lot of you earn way more than this, because I know a street vendor have more than one weekly partner at that, and I know chump change. So, but just to keep it cute. How often do you receive the amount monthly? Do you pay NHT contribution on this income? I'm gonna put yes. They're asking you the start date where you started making contributions with your self-employed income, and remember the format date, month, year. So be mindful when you're filling this information, you must put it in the format that they ask for them to consider you, because the least little error will make you disqualify. So I'm gonna put that I started contributing the 1st of January 2023, and it says contributed to date. So this date would be the last time you made a contribution, because remember, to be eligible, you must be contributing within the last 52 weeks, which is 1 year, and the last 13 must be current. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in. It says, have you ever worked anywhere else in the past? And most persons have had multiple jobs, so I'm gonna select yes, that I've had other jobs in the past. Once I select yes, it will populate the fields for the information of your past employment. So you're going to provide those details, but do not include employment before 1976. And you have the option to select add if you have multiple past employers. So here we're going to put in the company's name that we worked, what date we started, and the date that we ended. And remember the date format, date, month, year. And here I selected add to put a second company in case I worked for more than one company. And you can select remove if you don't really have so many companies that you work for, and you put in the information. All right, but no, I'm gonna take out the self-employment information. I only did that to show you an example, and I selected employed. So it asks for your present employment. So you see that the fields change depending on what you choose. So please note, I don't want to confuse you. First I selected self-employed and I put in that information, but I went back to select employed and I'm putting in new information. All right, so you choose what suits you. So I don't really work at Digicel, but I'm putting Digicel as the place of my employment, and it will ask for the address where you work. So you put whichever Digicel location, which in this case I'm putting the one on Sovereign Supercenter. So you see me type in different things because I'm not sure if Sovereign Supercenters is an actual address used for the the company. But of course, if you work at a location, you'll have the exact address and be able to fill it in for this section. So the name of my current company, the branch of that company, the address of that branch, and the parish that that company is located in. The next information needed is telephone number. Now put the telephone number for the specific branch that you work. How long have you been employed at this company? From date, that means the date that you started. I remember the format, date, month, year, and you put in when you started. I'm gonna put that I started the 20th of August 2022 to present. So you see to present is there by default because you must be currently employed if you're gonna select that you're employed, and this section is for your current employer. What is your gross income before tax in Jamaican dollars? And I'm gonna put that I currently make 150,000 before tax. So make note of the amounts I'm putting in and how it will affect me. And I put that I make this monthly, so that's fine. All right, so how have you ever worked anywhere else in the past? I'm gonna put yes, and it'll ask for your past employment. Like I mentioned before, you can add each place that you've worked, and if you add it and you don't want it again, you select remove. All right, so if you work somewhere in the past, just put in that information. And so I'm gonna put it in, but if I've never worked anywhere in the past and I select no, I'm able to move to the next section. But this makes no sense. Put all your information, all the past employers, because you would have been contributing to NHT here. All right, so I'm gonna put a similar company to the one I put as my current company. I'm gonna put that my past information was for Flow, Jamaica, and that I started there January 1st, 2022, and then I stopped working there the 31st of December 2022. So I selected next, but there was an error because I'm not putting in my real information. It shows that the NIS did not match the date of birth. Now, if you make any error while applying, if it is information that is in the system, such as NIS and date of birth, you'll see it in red. And so once you scroll up, you'll see what the error was, and you can go ahead and make the change. So I'm gonna come off screen for just a moment to input the correct NIS that matches with the date of birth, and I'm gonna put it through to the next step. So I'm just adding one past employer. I'm gonna select next, and it takes me to step 3. So look at this. Based on the income I put in, it told me that the loan amount for which you are eligible is less than the price of the scheme unit. Therefore, you will not be able to access the regular scheme loan at this time. However, if you're interested, the NHT may consider you for an intergenerational loan. The provision is to assist contributors who can afford the price of the unit but can identify an eligible successor. Conditions apply. So therefore, I'm going to go back to step 3, because if I don't qualify here, I'm not going to be able to make it to step 4. So I'm going to go back to step 2 and change my income so that I can qualify for the house and show you how to finish the complete step process. But if this is you, then you know what you're gonna book up in, right? But let's go back to step 2. So I'm gonna select previous, and this will take me back to step 2. Also, if I qualify for only $4.9 million, if I'd selected that I had savings and put in that amount, and they see that I could afford the house because of this, then that would have helped me to be able to move forward. But I'm gonna go ahead and change my income here just to be able to move through each step, okay, and be able to show you the full process. All right, so I'm gonna scroll back down, and then I'm gonna hit next and come to step 3. So here it shows now that I qualify for the $9 million, and it shows me my options. So the following options are available based on the information you provided. Now notice only the studio units options are available to me. If you watch my live this morning, you would have seen I put in a higher income, and I had available to me the 1-bedroom units, which are about $1 million more. So a higher income guarantees you more options. So with what I put in right now, I'm only qualifying for the studio duplex. All right, so I'm gonna select that, and both options are the same. So you have to select a first choice and a second choice, but with my income, both my first and second choice are the same. There's a third slot below that says, if the solutions you choose are not available, would you like to be assigned to any other solution that is available in the scheme? And I selected yes. All right, so I made my first choice here, which shows that it's the studio duplex, priced at 8.9, semi-detached at 278 square feet. The second choice, the same thing. I'll go ahead and choose it. And even though it's the same thing, you must choose a second choice or it won't allow you to move forward. So I'm going to scroll down and select next to get to step 4, which is the submission section. So step 4, it shows me what I applied for, the name of the scheme, the selection, which is the unit, the duplex unit at 8.9, size 278 square feet, price $8.9 million. And then when you scroll down, you'll get a summary of everything that you put in at each step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, it will show that you selected no for savings. Do you accept any available solution? You selected yes. It will show you your TRN and your NIS information. And you scroll down, it gives you everything that you put in, your home address, you had put that in, your email, you had put that in the earlier steps. Once you scroll down in step 4, it allows you to review the information you submitted before you put it through. Remember, even the tiniest error could stop you from getting through. And so if you made any error here, if you see any error here, you go back to step 1, step 2, step 3. And here my error would, for occupation name, I'd put in street vendor when I was selecting self-employed, which I should have updated. Maybe I'm a cashier or customer service rep at Digicel, but it does have the option for you to go back to step 2 to update those details, all right, before you come back to step 4 to finish. All right, so this is just a summary in step 4, and I'm gonna scroll to the bottom of the page to be able to submit. Of course, the information I use is not my real information, but in case I had planned to submit false information, there's a section in blue reminding you that under Section 37 of the National Housing Trust Act 1979, any person who obtains a loan by means of false representations or willfully applies any loan made to him or her to any purpose other than the purpose of which the loan was made shall be guilty of an offense and shall be liable on summary conviction in a resident magistrate court to a fine not exceeding $30,000 or in a default payment or imprisonment with or without hard labor for a term not exceeding 12 months. So then I'll select that the information is correct and I'll select submit, and this will put through my application. I hope it was easy. I know I've been talking fast for somewhat, but you can pause and you can go back and you can comment and ask questions, all right? But I do believe that someone had commented that they went on the site. The last time when I posted 48 available in here, they said they went on the site and it was not going through. So I just did a live just to show that, all right? Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.